Modern footwear functions as a societal badge of honor. It is a tool used to signal status and identity, telling the world who you are. Global giants dominate this space by selling powerful narratives. However, those narratives are deeply Western. A teenager in Mumbai might admire the legacy of the Chicago Bulls, but they lack a visceral, local connection to that story. Local alternatives offer a different problem. The domestic Indian market produces millions of shoes that provide pure utility. These products are designed for walking, but they offer zero cultural cachet or signaling value. This chart maps the market on two axes: aspiration on the y-axis and price on the x-axis. In the bottom right are commoditized, cheap local brands. Top left sit expensive global heritage brands. This leaves the top right entirely empty, a massive white space for an aspirational, attainable brand. Dominating a market means identifying the territory global giants deliberately ignore. By occupying this cultural vacuum, a brand can build a legacy without ever having to challenge a heritage brand on its own terms. Filling that vacuum requires engineering cool from scratch. Most companies settle for passive cool, a lazy marketing strategy that relies on tired tropes like skateboarding to manufacture an artificial urban vibe. The sneaker brand Comet rejected this approach immediately. They instituted an internal rule, a strict, absolute ban on using skateboards or basketballs to sell their shoes. They optimized for active cool. This requires taking calculated risks and doing things considered unconventional or even incorrect by traditional retail standards. To succeed, this narrative must move beyond digital advertisements and be physically engineered into the materials of the product itself. Cult brands generate personality through the friction of unconventional risks. By inviting a reaction, the product provides the social currency buyers need to stand out in their own communities. Comet's first major release, the Mango shoe, illustrates this strategy. Instead of leaning on Western sports, they tapped into the universal Indian nostalgia of summer mango season. They treated the physical product as a storytelling medium. The shoes shipped in boxes filled with actual hay, mimicking fruit vendors, and featured hidden labels reading Kacham and Pakam, raw and ripe. Their follow-up was the orange shoe, featuring a functional outer layer of fabric that physically peels away like fruit to reveal a hidden pattern underneath. Achieving this level of detail requires intense technical rigor. Rather than using factory templates, Comet designs custom sole molds and runs their compounds through 6,000 cycle durability tests. Treating the product as a narrative canvas provides the customer with social ammo. The shoe becomes a conversation starter at a party, turning every buyer into an active marketer for the brand. Storytelling alone fails if the economics are wrong. The challenge is setting a price that signals premium status while avoiding the psychological barriers of the local market. Comet uses the 98-2 rule, specifically through their launch price of 4,299 rupees. The first digit, the 4, drives 90% of the consumer's decision. It creates a mental moat against cheap 2,000 rupee commodities while dodging the 5,000 rupee threshold where buyers begin to hesitate. Post-purchase, the brand relies on digital hospitality. Founders personally replied to direct messages for months, and the brand continues to grant existing customers early access to highly anticipated releases. Smart pricing puts the product on a customer's feet, but personalized hospitality is what upgrades a buyer into a vocal, lifelong advocate. This cult following dictates the retail experience. Comet stores include a dark, locker-lined vault to serve as a museum for sold-out drops, sacrificing floor space to honor the brand's history. This mirrors the overarching cosmic metaphor of the brand's namesake. In a standard solar system, everything operates with predictable clockwork. Planets move in the same circles day after day. Then a comet suddenly interrupts. It ignores the standard orbits, streaks across the sky, and forces everyone to look up. The business landscape reflects this phenomenon. In a market of giants moving in predictable circles, success belongs to the disruptor. When you launch your next venture, ask yourself, are you adding to the predictable noise of the market, or are you the comet that rewrites the sky?